Hey, Ash here from the Sparkol marketing team, and you've tuned into an episode of Sparkol Stories. Today, we're joined by thought leader, author, speaker, and award-winning entrepreneur Alison Edgar to chat us through how she's adapted her business strategy during our COVID-19 crisis. Here we go. Hi, Alison. Thank you so much for joining us today for our episode of Sparkol Stories.
You're very welcome. I love Sparkol. Big fan of Zoe, so it was my pleasure to be asked.
For our viewers today, could you give a brief introduction to exactly what Alison Edgar is as a business?
Sure. So I actually run 3 brands. So I'm Alison Edgar. I'm the author of Secrets of Successful Sales, which was an international Amazon bestseller and W.H. Smith's top 10 business book. And also I run a sales training company called Sales Coaching Solutions, but I am pretty well, I would say, better known as AKA the entrepreneur's godmother. So I work with some of the Dragon's Den winners and apprentice winners. I've got some high profile entrepreneurs in my portfolio, but fundamentally I teach sales. That's the bottom line.
Fantastic. Thanks for that. And obviously, we are all in the same boat here when it comes to this COVID-19 crisis. And we've kind of had to look at different ways that we can adapt our business models to make sure that we can stay operational. How have you, with your 3 brands, changed the way that your business operates?
I would say that the Alison Edgar brand as a speaker, that's a bit stagnant at the moment because for obvious reasons there aren't any large events taking place and really we don't really know what the outcome of that will be. I've moved to working with big organisations virtually. So yesterday morning, a huge international company, I did a session on positivity, pivot and proactivity. So again, still bringing in some revenue from there. But what I have done, and I had been doing this anyway, so we created our online courses 4 years ago. And we've got a suite of products that people can buy where a lot of people now are jumping in to try and create these products. I think one of the things is in a business, you change on the way up, not on the way down. So a lot of people are changing now as a knee-jerk reaction. I think a top tip for businesses to, start looking at things in advance and especially things like video. Now a lot of people are trying to jump on there. I think it's really important they don't knee-jerk in, but they make sure they get it right because it's a long-term program that you want to be doing. The other thing is I work with a client doing sales training virtually. So we do like an hour slot in the afternoon, 3 days a week. I'm very positive on the whole situation because I think it's about being adaptable and positive and really looking forward. So I'm doing well from lockdown. I've taken on an extra head count. So where other people are furloughing or redundancy, I've taken on staff and I've given them a pay rise. So I think I know from my background in advertising and media that now is the time to push forward with investing in marketing tools and creating strength around your brand.
That's fantastic that you've been able to get your business in that position and obviously benefit for your staff as well. With all of these things that you are learning during our lockdown period, has it made you reconsider what you would do moving forward when the lockdown eases off?
I think it's given me a strength of commitment that I don't have to travel as much. So an interesting thing, again, looking at the P&L, the profit and loss for the business. So the top line, the sales, the sales figures are not dissimilar to what they were in previous months prior to lockdown. But what has happened is the cost of the business has really dramatically dropped because one of my main expenditures was a travel. So I'm sitting on my sofa doing less work and I'm making more money. What's not to love about that? I've always had that side that we've been able to be adaptable into. But I think now I'll have more strength of purpose to say if anybody wants to speak to me, I'll just say, look, I'm not travelling to London to do this. Let's just do it. So I'll utilise my time better. And I think more, if you'd have done that with a CEO of a large company, they would have been quite insistent that you would come to London and see them face to face. Whereas now, because everybody's working from Teams or Zoom or a different tool, then they'll be more amenable to have that type of conversation, which is good. And I think, again, I know that my green screen keeps fading in and out, but like, nobody knows what's behind me, so you can still keep that professional aura.
And I guess my last question for you, Alison, is what are you as a business and your 3 brands going to do to start preparing for lockdown, or the end of lockdown, sorry?
So again, I think it's for us, we've been marketing really hard. So I think this is where everybody should be really doubling down on their sales activity and marketing activity, because if you look at momentum, think about a wheel. So as people go, if they are furloughed or if they have, put the business into hold, it's going to be so much more difficult because they're going to have to pick the momentum up. Whereas businesses who are continuing to make the wheel go round, and I'm like, right, like I'm revving my foot's on the accelerator, so that when we do come out, then it'll be fine. But I think, using tools like the video scribe and things like that are huge, because you might pick this up, but I love the camera. Touch woods, the camera seems to love me, so I don't have a problem putting a video out, or even like a live video, or doing anything like that. But that's not the case for a lot of people. If you look at consolidation of learning, people like to see it. So if I'm doing, I remember using it for a customer service training course, and I had given them 10 tips throughout the day, and literally I used the video scribe to consolidate, and I would try and get them, I put it on a slower pace, and I would get them to try and guess what the next top tip that was coming up on the video. So I think it's about being creative and doing things differently. And again, a lot of businesses are on the thing that I call the hamster wheel. So they always do what they've always done. They haven't got time to look at new things because they're too busy. Now they have time to really review everything they do. And I think if COVID-19 has given us one thing, it's given us time to plan, organise and be fantastic when we come out at the other end.
That's fantastic. And I think that's a fantastic way to end our Sparkol Story interview. Thank you so much for joining us, Alison.
You're very welcome. Thank you so much for having me.